It might be our final player signing to announce as we are wrapping up the month of September, but we're doing it on a high note. A fan favorite, a goal-scoring sensation since he came over to Cincinnati late last year, Zack Andrusiak. And if this Cyclones team can't get much better, and then all of a sudden they do, they bring you back, Drews. I'm sure you're excited, but first let's just kind of, I guess, start on the more chill side of things. We were just talking before we hit record. It'll have been 5 months since Game 7. That's a lot of time, hard to believe, but what have you done in that near half year since we last saw you?
Yeah, I've been kicking back and enjoying summer, but training hard and getting ready for the year. And I was fortunate enough to go on a few trips. My girlfriend and I went down to LA at the end of May, beginning of June, and caught some Dodger games and Disneyland and all that kind of stuff. So that was a really fun trip. And then we did a trip to Seattle too for my birthday and went to some baseball games there. Did a few went on a real fun fishing trip up north off the coast of Vancouver Island with some buddies, and just a few other trips, and just trying to golf and, like I said, train as much as I can to be ready for the year.
That's awesome. Well, I should have known, and I forgot about this because it had been so long, that you're one of the guys I relate to because you're one of the big baseball guys on the team. I know you were able to get out to a couple of Reds and Cardinals games here, but I forget, are you a Dodgers fan?
I am, yeah. Yeah, I'm a big Dodger fan. My dog, actually, he's named after the Dodgers. His name is Dodger.
That's awesome. So I was going to say, now, this past summer wasn't your first time at Dodger Stadium, was it?
No, I had been a couple times before.
What kind of what teams did you get to see them play this year?
We saw the Pirates and the Mets.
Oh, okay. Well, one team I would hope you guys did.
Yeah, so the Mets one, that was a really good game. That could be obviously like a big playoff matchup, possibly.
Yeah, it could be an NLCS. Who knows? But you've got to. I'm still hoping at the time of this recording, the Phillies are still in it. I've got some optimism here, trying to end this 11-year drought. And then, you saw Seattle too. So, what do you think of that ballpark?
I've been to that ballpark a lot because I played junior in Seattle, so I've been to a ton of Mariners games, and I love it there. Like, honestly, what used to be called Safeco, it's T-Mobile Park now. It's one of the best, I think, that I've definitely been to and I've seen. Like, there's no bad seats in there. They did such a good job of building it. You feel like you're right on top of the action, and it's a really nice ballpark. It's great to watch games there, and it's better that the Mariners are better now too, so they get better crowds and that kind of thing. And we were fortunate enough too that it was the Blue Jays that were there when we went on my birthday weekend. So obviously when the Blue Jays are in town, it's even better, the fans, because there's so many that come down from Vancouver and other parts of Canada.
You get to see any dingers by Vladdy?
No, we only made one game, and they might have been shut out actually in the game. Wow. It was like it was Robbie Ray versus Manoah. And so it was a straight pitchers duel. And I think Seattle won 2-0 maybe, or 3-0 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Vladdy had 2 hits, but no home runs.
All right. Well,
all their big guns played though. They just didn't do anything.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Like, even with the Yankees, even the Phillies, I know I shouldn't be going down this rabbit hole, but if you look at their lineup, man, the Phillies have a stacked lineup. I don't know why their offense sometimes goes silent when you got Schwarber, Realmuto, Harper, Hoskins,
that's just the way it's just like hockey too. You'll score a ton one night, and then the next night you'll have a tough night, because it's no different than the Dodgers lost 11-0 to the Cardinals the other night, and then the next night they killed them. So it's just, and that's a 106 win team already. So
how about one of those games? Pretty neat, 700 for Pujols.
Yeah, that was sweet. I remember I was watching a Dodger game a month ago, and they were joking about how it was possible that he might be able to hit the home run, the 700th in Dodger Stadium. And then sure enough, it ended up happening.
Yeah. That's so cool. Crazy. Somebody said, and I promise this is it, baseball, we'll stop talking about, we'll get to hockey. I know that's what the fans want to hear, but did you see something online? And I can't remember who it was from MLB Network, but the guy predicted it back in April. He said, he'll hit 700 one series in mid-September in LA.
Yeah. And that's kind of what the thing I saw too. They brought that up, and they're it's actually starting to look like it's a real possibility.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, we could talk about this all day. You were the one player that went to the Field of Dreams with the staff this year. I knew right there and then, I'm like, all right, I can talk with this guy about some baseball. So We'll do more of that once you get into town. But you know what? I think a good segue that you kind of set us up with about a minute ago is you said that's the thing about baseball, and you compared it to hockey, how you could see these stacked teams put up a ton of runs or a ton of goals. The next night it could be different, but you still feel really good when you got a good offense. This Cyclones team had it last year. How much have you paid attention to this offseason? Because, man, at least in my opinion, on paper, I think this team's even better.
Yeah, I agree too, from looking at the guys that we brought in and the guys returning and that kind of thing. And I definitely think that we should have a real high powered and potent offense. And I'm excited because that's the kind of player I am. So it's fun for me to play in that, style and that kind of thing. So I'm excited to have great teammates and great guys to play with again. And it's going to be exciting. And, just having that much talent and that much skill up front and the ability to score a lot of goals. It's exciting for the fans too, because that's what everybody likes to see is goals and wins.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and you hope for a lot of that. I mean, and that's the thing, like our fan base is so hyped up about this season. It's early. We saw last year what can happen with injuries, call-ups and all that, but at least on paper, you feel good. And if you look on paper at your stats, like here's a 24-year-old kid who's already been in this league a little bit. I'll ask, if you disagree, no problem. But in my opinion, you were a good player in the ECHL. But when you came over from Idaho to Cincinnati, you went from good to great and good to elite. Do you feel that way? Was it just the right situation here that maybe for whatever reason didn't click quite as well? Because again, you were still putting up points with the Steelheads. It's just something happened here where you took your game to a different level.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like you said, it was just the fit. The style of the team and the opportunity the coaching staff gave me and, the guys I got to play with and that kind of thing. It was just the perfect fit and the perfect role for me. And I got a real good opportunity and things went really well. And, hopefully I could build off that and be even better this year.
All right. I'm going to put you on the spot here. And I guess it's something that we have not really talked about as an organization. Recently the Cyclones added Jalen Smerrick, who became the fourth veteran. Actually, I think I'm wrong about that. It's Matt Berry. I'm sorry. Both were Matt. Yeah. Matt Berry is the vet. Smerrick would be next season. But in any case, ECHL only allows 4 vets per team. So right now the Cyclones have it in Mingo, Caparuso, Vive, and Matt Berry. One of the guys you played with a lot last season when you came over was Jesse Schultz. So right now the numbers would have him as the odd man out. Just kind of curious, like did you have an opinion on that? Is there a take on a guy who, I think you guys really did, along with Vive, were kind of inseparable once you came over and that became the top line?
Yeah. We had a real good connection and some good chemistry and that kind of thing. And Schulte, obviously he's a legend in that league and in pro hockey in general. And it was really cool to get to play with him and, just learn some things from him and that kind of thing. And, his play style really clicked with my play style too. And, we worked really well together and he had a great career and that kind of thing. And I don't know, I haven't actually spoke to him at all this summer. I don't know if he's kind of ready to move on or what kind of thing, but, I think, moving forward, the guys we got now too are going to be great too. And bringing over like a guy, you said, Barry, obviously we got to see him a lot last year in Toledo and he's a great player and his numbers speak for himself. So, I'm excited to get a chance to play possibly with him too. And, and have him on our side this year.
I was kind of wondering that. I'm like, I just don't know. I mean, obviously it's Painter's decision. I wonder if you guys would be line mates because you guys are both so goal score heavy. But at least from the side of playing against him in a 7-game series, like what is it like to play against that guy?
Yeah, it was obviously Toledo was, in a way, they were very similar to us, the way they were built. They had really good up front forwards and lots of good offense. And, they moved the puck really well as a team. And they, I love playing in those style of games and those type of games. And I think that's another reason, why I had such success in that division is because, most of the teams in that division are kind of the same way with lots of talent and that kind of thing. So it's always fun to play against guys and teams like that. And like I said, Barry, I think it was a game 1 that he had the hat trick in and that kind of thing. And just, he's always a guy that, is really good around the net and that kind of thing and very opportunistic. And, I think that's a guy that, would mesh well with my play style and that kind of thing. So I like you said, it's up to Painter, but I really like to play with him. It'd be fun, I think.
Yeah, wouldn't mind it. Two guys over 50 goals, maybe combined on that line, maybe over 60 as a duo. I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think so.
And by the way, I was just thinking about it. So Barry, I want to say it was game 4, actually, that he had like the 2 goals. Because if you remember, I was just talking about this with somebody on a podcast recently. Jean Albert was the guy that had the hat trick in game 1.
Oh, that's right.
Because if you remember, his third goal is the one that rims off.
Yeah, off of Hauser's head. Yeah, that was a tough one.
That was a brutal one.
I know it's hindsight and I know excuses. You shouldn't make them, but I still think that we win that game, series would have ended differently.
I said that too. I don't know why I'm trying to think here. Maybe it may have been Matt Berry I was talking to. If not, it had to have been somebody on our team from last year. Actually, it was Pistol Pete, Patrick Polito.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I was talking to him, because think about it, man. If you look at it, well, I said this in game 1, I thought they came out hard, but I thought in the second, third, and overtime, the Cyclones were the better team in game 1. Game 2, you guys won. Game 3, you guys won. Like, it legitimately could have been a 3-0 series lead. And I think
definitely. Yeah. And just, obviously going in there, and if we could have taken the first 2 in their rank, it would have stunned them too, obviously. And that would have done a lot different, just for a series, being another playoff series and having that happen to you or to against other teams. Like, that's tough to come back from when you give up the 2 at home like that, especially when you're supposed to be the one that's winning.
Yeah. Well, I was going to, since we're talking about it, like, let me ask you about the playoffs at the pro level, because that was your first experience with it. Right. So, I mean, and to go the distance, 7 games, man, that was it. You talk about hindsight, like, it sucks to talk about it like this, but man, it was still a really, really fun series to be a part of. It, at least for me broadcasting it, I loved it. Everything but the finish. But even the finish, right? Like, they're up 3-0 in game 7. All of a sudden it's a 1-goal game real quick. So, can you speak to just what it was like to experience playoff hockey in the ECHL?
Yeah, it was a great series. And, coming in, we were obviously the underdogs, but as a team, we didn't feel that way. And we knew we could play with them and push it. And obviously we pushed it to 7, and we even had a 3-2 lead going into the game 6 too. So, we felt like we could have won that series. And I think we definitely, looking back at it, we had times that we probably, we wish we could go back and change things, because we probably would have, but I just think it was good experience for, everybody on the team, and for myself included, coming back this year, to just build off that. We have that experience now of going through it together, and there's a lot of returning guys and that kind of thing. And, we can use that experience to help us going forward.
Yeah. I guess one of the things is, as we get toward the end of our conversation, that I'll ask you here, it's just an opinion. I remember last year when I was talking to Painter, the big thing he talked about was special teams. So, and look, everything matters, right? Like, goals, defense, goaltending, they all matter. But he said special teams. My opinion is, I think this team needs to learn to win on the road more, which, again, all those things kind of encompass that as well. Do you have an opinion? You mentioned a lot of the returnees. You mentioned being the underdogs. Again, on paper, I do not think the Cyclones are going to be looked at as underdogs to start this year. So is it the road? Is it special teams? Or is it something else that maybe you see that you think?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of everything. Obviously the biggest thing in pro sports is consistency, right? And we gotta find that. And last year we were, not a younger team, but we had a lot of inexperience on our team with, first year players and that sort of thing. And it's tough. I know, going through it myself at a time, that, in your first year, trying to find that consistency and being able to bring your A game every single night, especially when you're playing in such a good division like we play in, you got to be ready to go every night, because everybody's good and everybody's gunning for you always. So, I think consistency in all aspects of the game is the biggest thing that we got to focus on right from the get-go and get out to it. And like you said, Painter said, special teams, that's come playoff time. Like, special teams is so big, right? Because 5-on-5 is just, it's so tight, checking and grindy, and there's not a lot of goals scored 5-on-5. Those games are usually won and lost with the special teams, because not even if special teams goals are scored, but it swings momentum so much, if you get a big penalty kill or you score a power play goal or that kind of thing. So definitely that's something too that I think we can improve on and, get better at. And, and just, moving forward.
Just talking to you here, you sound like you've gained so much leadership qualities too. Because I don't know, you're so well spoken about everything, and I love that. And it kind of shows the maturity of you as a player and how that's continuing to blossom. So I guess I'll end it here. My last question for you, Zach, is when you look at the Cyclones, this was a game changer for you between here in Idaho. You scored 29 goals last season. So the ceiling is potentially bigger than that. You had the AHL call up, which I think is a confidence boost when you went to Tucson for a couple of games. So last thing here is, at what point did you decide that you were coming back to Cincinnati? And twofold, what are your goals as you enter this season?
Yeah, for me, it was, at the end of last year, my main goal, was I was trying to get an AHL one-way contract for this year. But in the back of my mind, I always knew that if that didn't happen, I was coming back to Cincinnati 100%. I loved it there with, the team, my teammates, the coaches, the fans, the city, just everything was great. It was, like I said, it was a great fit for me. I had success, it was tons of fun. I love playing with those guys. So that was an easy decision for me. I always knew that if I was playing in the ECHL again, that I'd be in Cincinnati. So, like I said, my biggest goals for this year is just building off the way we ended last year. I think even though we lost that series, we took a team that was won the regular season and went to the league final to 7 games. And for a while in the series, we looked like we were going to win it too. So, I think that's something that we can use as confidence and, moving forward and, build off of and, just have a great year. And like I said, get off to a great start and just build some chemistry real early and get on the train and get rolling and not be stopped.
I feel like there is just this palpable energy in all the conversations we have with the guys that just cannot wait to get back at it. And luckily for us, September is about over now. It is time for October. Cyclones are going to have their first face-off at Heritage Bank Center on October 29th. You can go to cycloneshockey.com to get your tickets for that game. And they start a week earlier on the road in Fort Wayne to kick off the 2022-23 season. But for now, that's the end of what could be our last player signing before the season starts. Zack Andrusiak, again, a goal-scoring sensation, a fan favorite, and a hat trick as a member of the Cincinnati Conies. We'll have to talk more about that this coming season. But Zach, great talking to you, catching up with you, and look forward to seeing you here in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to getting down there and seeing everybody too.